I got winners on the way. You know you can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, then we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat with Neesha for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake it's like that. We've been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Well, good evening, Facebook. Good evening, good evening. I am Neesha here, and we have been on a busy little trail today. It definitely has been hump day today because we did 2 segments this earlier today, and we are here for our third, and I am very excited this evening. You all have been hearing me talk about Clubhouse and how it has opened up a world of global networking with people, and it has been a really amazing experience. And so, ladies and gentlemen, but ladies especially, you want to snuggle up and grab and share this interview with this amazing, beautiful woman of God who I met on Clubhouse. And I immediately I don't reach out to everyone, but I did reach out to her, and I said, you know what, I must interview you. I must have you on Neesha's network. And so I'd like to introduce to you guys from Washington, D.C., none other than Christy Little-Jones. Welcome,
Yay,
Christy.
thank you, Neesha. I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome. I loved your intro music. I was like, yes, I loved it. It was great.
Thank you. I actually just interviewed Dee today about my little, my theme, Neesha's Network theme song.
Love
which is
it.
a little edgy for me, but I really like it and people like it. So thank you so much.
So fun.
Well,
Yes.
please, by all means, I think we have been in so many marriage rooms together and different things. And I know many of us have had to put ourselves on a Clubhouse budget because you could just kind of be on there forever. And I took that from Dr. Ruby Powell because she said that. She says, you know what, I have to be on a Clubhouse budget. And I'm like, yes, because you're hungry and thirsty for knowledge and connections and networking, especially since the world has been kind of closed up, not the norm, So it's been pretty crazy, amazing. But tell me a little bit about yourself, and we're just starting fresh.
Sure. Thank you again for having me. Super excited. Hello, Facebook family. My name is Christy Little-Jones. I was actually born in Denver, Colorado, but I grew up in Santa Barbara, California. And I now currently live in Washington, D.C. And I've been in D.C. for over 20 years. So I really consider this my new home. And I've been married. I am married and have been married. This will be 19 years this year.
Ooh, 19 years.
Yes. I know. We're like, once we get to 20, right? And so I'm really excited. I inherited a son when I originally got married, and then we had 3 children. So we had 3 babies in 3 years, and they are now 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. So 15, wow. 16, and 17 years old. Yes. So exciting. So by trade, I have been a health educator for over 20 years, and I work with a very large healthcare organization, and currently I'm developing an employee wellness program for a big city school system here in the area. And so love what I do. I love helping people and helping them to live their very best life, for sure.
So you haven't had to go outside the house, huh?
Well, nope, not since March 11th. There have been a few times that I've had to go into the office, but I can count them on one hand.
March 11th was last year, huh?
Last year.
Wow.
That's I miss people.
Well, listen, so tell us why we're here today. Now, I know you have many things that you shared with me and on Clubhouse about the different things that you're involved in and your legacy and different things like that. But today we're here to talk about your ministry/business, because that's what I'm going to call it, because it really is ministry all day long.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about it, the name of the organization, and what you do.
Sure. So again, one of the things that I realize is that when we have a vision, or like when something we're really passionate about, I don't know, Neesha, if you've heard people talk about that if they do what they love, they never work a day in their life.
Yes, I've heard that. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, who said that? Did you say that?
No, I don't think I said it, but
Someone just said it this week on Clubhouse. So yeah,
oh,
literally, not exactly.
it's true. So I am a relationship coach, a marriage and family champion, and I consider myself the chief cheerleader for women all over the world. And so I'm the host of the Wife Wisdom podcast. And I started this podcast about 3 years ago. I've been really in relationships and really kind of coaching relationships probably for as long as I can remember. And the reason why marriage and family is something that's so important to me is even when I was a little girl, all I talked about was getting married and having babies. So you can only imagine how nervous this made my parents. But so my ministry is really to help people to create and connect and cultivate connection and intimacy in their relationships so that they can, because we're all part of the body. We're supposed to be in relationship, but it's so interesting how so many people don't do relationships well. They didn't have examples. They didn't have examples of marriages, of healthy marriages, or even healthy relations with other sisters and brothers.
Exactly.
So I've just always been passionate about that. So my company is Christy Little Jones, but my podcast is Wife Wisdom, and my husband and I, we started the marriage ministry at our church, and we did that for 8 years where we helped prepare couples for marriage.
Okay.
We really believe that if we had known, then people make a different decision if they know, right? Because we make a decision out of emotion typically. So, oh my gosh, I'm so in love, or oh, he's so fine, or oh my gosh, she's so bad, right? And so we get married based on that, but we really aren't ready. We're really not prepared for what comes in marriage because you never know.
Right. So I want to pause right there and ask you, so your passion for wanting to be married and wanting to have children, did that stem from watching your parents?
Probably. It probably did.
So they had a healthy marriage then, huh?
Yes.
How long were they married?
So my parents were married 23 years. And then I'm devastated when my parents got a divorce. And so I had like out of the blue, because again, we were like the Huxtables, right? We were the happy family and everything was awesome and amazing. And this is what I thought real life was like. And then when my parents got divorced, it was really, really, really hard for me. I was a senior in high school, and but they maintained a very healthy relationship. And so even after they had gotten divorced, we went on family vacations together. And so I was always excited, like, oh my gosh, they're going to get back. They're going to get back. But my dad just recently passed, unfortunately. But I loved my family. My family was very close, very supportive. And that's really where I learned about relationships. And my dad was a master at creating and cultivating amazing relationships.
Wow. Okay. So you had a good foundation, even though now I've never heard anybody put a spin on it like that. It was like they go on vacation together. So somewhere along the line, emotionally, they were okay. You know what I mean? Or they had resolved to be friends. So that didn't paint your view of marriage.
It didn't at all.
So, and my questions are probably going to like veer off a little bit from our questionnaire, but what makes you passionate about marriage, and what makes you passionate about seeing wives whole? Because the Wife Wisdom podcast that says, I mean, that's Proverbs 31, or that's just we need wisdom on how to deal. And maybe you could share a little bit about your personal testimony and your story. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really passionate about it because I believe that this is the foundation, right?
Okay.
So when God made Eve, right, he created the foundation of this unit. And so as I've got older, I just loved being in a relationship. I loved not only being in a relationship with my, fellow sisters, loved it, but just I loved dating. I loved being married. And it really, I don't want to say the words frustrating, but it makes me kind of sad when people don't really have a good experience with it or a good relationship. And because again, we all have different experiences that really set us up for the kind of like how we view life and our perspective and what we think about marriage. And so if I can be a vehicle that God uses to be able to help people see relationships the way they were intended, then that really fuels me. Like I could talk about it 24 hours a day. And, my husband's like, okay, you need to go to bed. Right. So just any ways that I can.
I understand that.
Yeah, that and especially even like the tightest woman principle of having older women really help younger women to not stumble. Though, if they can share their stumble, then it really will help other women to prayerfully help them not to fall into the same ditch or fall into the same hole. And so
now, I'm going to pause right there because you said the older women to help the younger women as by them sharing their story. That's the key. Sharing their story will help them because a lot of times the younger generation doesn't want to listen to the older one because they always are giving rules and regulations, but not really being transparent about, I've experienced some of the same things that you either are walking into or that you're dealing with right now. And I think that's what prohibits them from wanting to even actually dive in and be attentive and say, maybe I better pay attention. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to learn from older women. And, even having 3 teenagers right now, like I may say something or offer some advice and they're like, Mom, it's so different from when you were in school, or things are so different from that. Like, and it's just a cutoff right away. Like it's not even a desire to listen. It's really just, and unfortunately, I think that that's the nature of the culture because it's, everything is so instant, like even my kids, everybody thinks that, they can do a couple videos and go viral on YouTube and become a millionaire. Like, no, it's a lot of work.
That's very true. That's very true.
24 hours all day in the beginning when you're starting any business or even stepping into your ministry, it's work. And people have to be so passionate about it because that's why you have to be really clear about what you're doing and what you're putting your energy towards, because if you're not passionate about it, it will never last.
That's true. That's true. So let's start talking about how you decided to offer people healthy emotional intimacy. Tell me a little bit about your own experience and your story, which prompted you to start this amazing business and ministry.
Yeah. So in 2012, initially when I started my business, it was called Mommy in Training. So, and I really wanted to help women understand the power and the privilege of their position in really raising the next generation and pouring into, because I kept hearing a lot of complaining about, oh my gosh, these kids. And I'm like, it's such a joy and a privilege to be able to literally raise a human being. Like we deal with adults now that so many moms and dads neglected, and we are dealing with them. Right. So if you can create these amazing human beings to be awesome fathers and husbands and community leaders, like what a privilege. So it started off like that and then kind of moved into the whole marriage piece. And in 2012, it was a normal day because I was a stay-at-home mom for about 15 years. Because 3 babies in 3 years, you're paying like $3,000 to send your kids to childcare a month. That was not going to happen. And so So staying home in 2012, I was, regular day on my computer, and I was reading this email, and it was really, I didn't know who it was from. And so it said, "Hi, Christy, I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm no longer dating your husband."
Oh
And
wow.
devastated,
Oh wow.
devastated. Like I literally was like, what does that say? Like I had to really read it. And in that moment, I just sat back, and it was like one of those cartoons where everything was like everything kind of just
Yeah.
flashed before
Yeah.
your eyes in a matter of seconds. And it felt like my breath, like I couldn't breathe for, it felt like 10 minutes, but it was probably just like 2 seconds, right? And immediately I called, and then I asked my husband, "Do you know who her name is?" And he was like, "No, what are you talking about?" Got defensive, hung up, right? And then literally less than 60 seconds later, called back crying, saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And he was on his way home. And I was like, "No, no, no, don't come home yet." And then I called our pastor.
Don't come
And
home yet. You
yeah,
said don't come home yet.
only because it was, he worked like an hour away. So I
Okay.
just was like, wait, I don't know if I want you to come home yet, because I was still in the thick of just getting this information. So I called my pastor, and he said for us to go over there first.
Okay.
And so that was good. And so we went over there, and I thought about so many things in a matter of an hour. And I thought, okay, what's going to happen if I go to the divorce court? I'm going to leave a legacy of divorce, right?
Okay.
Because again, this is my second marriage. So one
Okay.
of the things that I didn't realize, it was the generational curse on my life, because my parents and grandparents had been divorced, and didn't even know that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I wasn't, so again, that's why I think the premarital piece is so impactful, so important
Yes.
to know what you're dealing with, so that you
Yes.
can make decisions that are intentional.
Yes.
So so I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, because I don't want to do to my kids what I felt when my parents got divorced. And so I thought through it, and then that evening we came home, we talked about it we didn't sleep, and we just cried and cried and cried. And then 2 weeks later, I get all of these. I'm at my email, and we get all of these emails again. "Oh, your ministry is so great. It seems like you're really passionate about what you do. And did you see this? Did you see this?" And it was a link, and it was a cheater site, and it had 180,000 views. And it was this lady who was super bitter, because when she told me, it was after, from what I found out, it was after she had told my husband, "Well, I love you. Will you ever leave your wife?" And he said, "Heck no." And she got angry, and then posted pictures trying to blast him and what he did and what he does. And
Mm.
180,000 views. You talk about defamation of character. You talk about devastating, because I'm the innocent person in this. And it really it was totally God who really just healed our marriage, because one of the things that we were very clear about is that we wanted to fight. And I remember it was probably within 48 hours, I literally told my husband that I forgive you. And in that moment, he dropped down and started bawling in the middle of the floor. And that was the start of this journey of really healing and pressing into a place of oneness, and really allowing God to heal our hearts and mend them back together. And so, and then I had a girlfriend who had a friend from Real Simple magazine, and they were talking about forgiveness. And they asked if they can do an article. And so they did an article on my story or our story. And I had numerous women reach out, and just kind of being a relationship coach, just walked them through that process. And, I'm so excited to say that by sharing my testimony,
Yes.
so many marriages have been healed as a result.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So many, just because, and I was speaking for Mocha Moms. I was a part of Mocha Moms, and I was speaking. I don't remember what I was talking about, but it just came out. Like, I just started sharing the testimony, and it's like I couldn't even pull it back in. But in that moment, it was like they were just dumbfounded, like in the audience. And that was the beginning of just God using something that was not only my worst nightmare, but the biggest devastation of my life, for his glory. And so when he healed our relationship, we were better than ever before. And so, that was 9 years ago in March.
Wow. So let me just backtrack, because I heard this today. I was in a room on Clubhouse, and I heard this today about ladies. You have to heal. You have to emotionally heal.
Yeah.
You cannot put all your emphasis on what your husband is doing. You have to make a decision to the Father that you are going to heal no matter what. And I know several people that have gone through that, but you know how it can really sound easier said than done. And I think that it's real easy for people to say that, but how important is that? And how would you recommend people actually start taking those necessary steps? And I'm speaking to the wives, because someone reached out to me off of Clubhouse and DM'd me on Instagram, and they were just very broken. And they said, and I didn't really do a whole lot of talking, but for whatever reason, the Lord led them there. And I just said, you have to heal. You have to make a decision. And all I can speak is the testimonies that have come from women actually taken to say, I got to pay attention to me. I have to survive. So tell me a little bit about what you think the steps are for women that have to overcome not just infidelity, but just the different struggles that you go through in marriage.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that, because I really, when we go through stuff, we don't really know what we're going through it until we get through it and we look back at it, right?
That is
And
so
so
good. Yes.
I did not realize that me going through this, even this healing process of being broken, and that God was creating something for me to be able to share with other women. And that is so funny, because it's called the love experience. And it really is. You have to really go back to when life broke your heart. And you've got to not be afraid of it. You can't avoid it anymore. You cannot continue to allow the imprint of the experience that you had, most likely when you were a child, to try to play out in your life in and through every relationship. And so I'm leading a group of women through this process, through this journey of healing and experiencing breakthrough and transformation, because all I do is help position them. God does the rest. And so I just help them to understand and really get in the trenches and hold a safe place for them to be brave enough to confront it, to be brave enough to really speak to it and take their power back, so they no longer shut down and shrink.
That's good. Something else came to me just throughout the years of meeting with countless women and couples. One of the things that stood out to me is when the children kind of pay attention that something's not right, and when they pay attention, it affects the relationship. Or do you feel like parents should protect their children from the dynamics that have happened?
I think that's the worst thing ever. Is honestly, I think that it's so important for you to share and be honest with your kids. I think especially in the African American community, it's like they hide really important things, and kind of even like I didn't realize that my grandfather had been married 3 times until after I was divorced.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you say this beforehand? Because at least, even though my walk with God was very different then, at least I'm equipped with being able to make informed decisions because I have all the information. I remember my dad's sharing a really great story about a grandmother for Thanksgiving used to always cut the back of the turkey off and put it in the pan, right? Before she would actually cook it. And so the tradition became, the granddaughter was cooking Thanksgiving dinner. She took the turkey, cut off the back and put in the pan. And the mom was like, well, why'd you cut off the back? And she's like, well, grandma does it like this. And she's like, well, it was because the pan was too small.
That is so good, Christy.
Right?
Wow.
So there's no communication that people, especially the older generation, if you're wanting to leave a legacy and transfer, different traditions, you've got to tell the whole tradition, like tell the whole story.
That is so funny. Wow.
We just do it.
So powerful. That is so powerful right there.
So powerful.
Yeah.
We really need to tell people our story.
Wow.
And the details of it. So, we talk to our kids about sex. We talk to our kids about, because even when, you probably know this, Neesha, where, we take couples through premarital or counseling and we ask them, okay, well, what do you know about sex and where did you learn it? From TV, from the movie. So you're saying you didn't learn it from your parents? Nope. Like
no,
99% like, no, my parents never talked to me about it.
Yeah.
We're there. We're supposed to talk to them about it. They're supposed to learn the truth from us, not the world.
That is so the truth. And my girls probably told me that I told them too much.
Yeah, for sure.
They were like, you could really just not tell us all of that. But the truth is, but I told them because I was naive. I was married at 18 and I was naive and I didn't know. And Wes was the teacher. And he, and there was already, he had a son already, but we were so young and I just didn't know. So I just embraced the love from the emotional discomfort that I was receiving from home.
Yeah.
And received it all from him. And the rest is history. Thank the Lord. It's a great story.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that I didn't go through a lot of emotional pain being 18 years old, getting pregnant and being a pastor's granddaughter and the ridicule and I could go on and on. Wow. But my point is that stuck with me so many years, the emotional hurt, that I was starting to let it trickle down into my children. And that was not, you know what I mean? For sure. That so I wanted them to know. I was like, let me just tell you how this happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? The real, the raw. And I didn't play games with that.
Yeah.
So you know what? You've been operating your this program and the Wife Wisdom podcast. Tell us a little bit about that. What days are you on and where can people listen to you?
Yeah, so it's actually it's uploaded, so it's not live. It's uploaded on Monday mornings. And you can go to not only my website, which is ChristyLittleJones.com, but also like Spotify or iTunes, and it's just Wife Wisdom with Christy Little Jones. Okay. And so about 3 years ago, God was like, do the podcast. I was like, okay. And we were on vacation actually in Hawaii, and God was like, no, right now. I was like,
wow.
Okay. So I just kind of started looking like, how do you do a podcast? And so that was, September 3 years ago. And it really is for single women who want to be married, for newly married women who want to thrive as a wife, and seasoned wives who need help staying a wife. So, because I heard women who desire to be married, they need to know what's coming. They need to know what, marriage and wifehood, like, let's get ready, let's get prepared. So it's really to help cultivate the heart of a wife, because we are the glue. We are the glue in the marriage. We can set the tone in the marriage. We can totally elevate our husbands and have them light up. We have all of that power, and we don't know. We don't know the skills of really being able to pour into our husbands in ways for them to just flourish. And in addition to really helping them learn how to love us as well, because we think and assume that they're supposed to know us just because we're married to them.
Yes, I think I misspelled your name. Have you ever had the experience of someone your senior ministering to them as a wife?
Yes. So, as far as a woman ministering to my husband?
No. Women who are seasoned, like your senior, older than you, come to you for coaching and
oh yeah.
How hard is it? I know that was hard for me in the beginning because I'm like, you're like my mother. I can't speak.
Yeah. No, I didn't even see it like that. Because even my mom, because she's remarried as well, and So, and it's really encouraging, and I'm sure it's encouraging to her to hear it from her daughter, but I think it's really more to hold the standard, right? To hold the boundary stone, just to hold the line. Like, okay, I know you're over here to the left because your emotions, and that's okay. And I'm going to, and I'm going to be there with you, but we can't unravel the whole family and legacy and because you're mad that he didn't take out the trash. Like, let's get back to what's really going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that I just never thought about it like, oh no, she's older than me. Yeah.
Well, you know what, and this is a question that I'm sure is probably hasn't been asked, but I've tackled it the last few weeks just with meeting so many women, and this is, what do you do when you can't be married by yourself? When you've exhausted all you can, how can you encourage women? Because it's easy to say, God, you can heal, God can fight your battle, and we are the marriage cheerleaders. We're gonna coach you to the end. But what happens when you say, you know what, I've done all I can do and I'm losing myself in the process?
If you meaning that if you're losing yourself in and you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very lonely place to be. Very lonely when you are in a marriage and your husband may be manipulative or controlling or isn't great at engaging or communicating. My very first thing would be to get help. Don't suffer in silence. And even if your husband is like, no, I don't want any, I don't need it, you need it, right? You
Yeah,
go. Right?
exactly.
You go, because the best way to make any change in your marriage is to change you.
Yes. Oh my
That's
God.
the best way.
That is so huge. I know that is something that I say that I always remind people, and I know a lot of people say it. Coaches need coaches, counselors need counselors, and everybody needs to go and just do a check-in to make sure you're okay. We do checkups with the doctor. Why not do a checkup with a coach or a counselor or accountability person to say, how are you doing? What's going on with you? And definitely check in with your spouse. That is so huge. Well, I have really enjoyed talking to you and just sharing with you. I feel like we've known each other forever.
I know.
We have known each
For
other
sure.
forever.
It's so, Neesha, can I just add one more thing?
Yes,
For every
absolutely.
couple, create your dream team. And so when you
Oh, that's
create your
good.
dream team, those are your people that you trust and your husband trusts, so that you can go to them when you get to a sticky place or you're in a valley and you can't seem to get to the top and you're in the valley too long, right? Then you need to pull them in so that you can really get back to a place of, okay, we're on the mountaintop now, because you're going to go into a valley again, and they probably will too. But when you cultivate relationships where you trust, the both of you trust other people that can speak into your marriage and continue to hold the line for you, it helps keep you accountable to happily ever after.
Yes. Oh, that is so good. I've never heard anyone put it that way before. Most people say get a mentor or get someone to coach you, but
Yeah.
create your dream team. Actually write a list, everybody. Write
Yeah.
a list of who those people are.
For sure.
And it's so funny because after you do that and you talk to those people, you're keeping them accountable too.
Yes.
Every time you teach, you have to eat what you're teaching,
Absolutely.
So that is so good. I'm so grateful. I'm going to go on and ask you a couple more questions before we check out. What is one of the practical life lessons that you've learned about doing what you love?
The practical lesson is to really don't keep it to yourself. Everything you go through is not just for you.
Mm-hmm.
And people are scared because they're embarrassed or they're ashamed but it brings such a level of comfort and peace to other people who hear it because they think they're the only ones.
Yeah.
And so
That's
when
true.
you can connect with someone or encourage someone by sharing your story, or it just it has completely changed the way that I see things that have happened to me that are scary or embarrassing or any of that, because they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Me too. Right. And it really does make people feel so much better. So that practically share your story.
Share your story. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone, you overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony.
Yes,
Your story matters. So tell us
absolutely.
again how everyone can get in contact with you. This is Christy Little Jones. If you all have just joined, she's Coach Christy Little Jones, and she's has a Wife Wisdom podcast that you can find on all the podcasts and probably all the live digital streams. It's been a privilege to talk to you. Tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, please follow me on Instagram at wife.wisdom. So wife period wisdom. And or the website christylittlejones.com. I'd love to just engage or connect with you any way that I can help support or encourage. Love to do that. And I'm actually going to launch the love experience on Monday. So Neesha, this week is like, so, and it's 12 weeks.
About the love experience.
Yeah. So it's 12 weeks of your own self, literally a self-discovery journey where we get to the root of why you respond the way you do in relationships, why your frustration, why you shrink and shut down when your spouse or somebody criticizes you or says something you don't like. Why do you respond in anger? Like, right? We're going to go on a journey of getting to the root and really uncover what happened to you. So what happened to you hurt, and the imprint of that is showing up in your life, wreaking havoc in every single way. And then in addition to really helping you to discover what love really is, because when you don't understand the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable.
That's
Dr.
right.
Miles Monroe.
Yes.
I love when he said that, right? He said, when you don't understand the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. People don't understand the purpose of love. They don't understand the definition of love, and the experience that they had corrupted the definition that God gave it. And so we're going back to reprogram, renew, restore, reset what love looks like, so that it can be expressed fully and wholly through them, to them, and to others. And so I'm really excited. I know God's going to do something really, really great. And so, yeah. So this week has been like crazy.
I'm sure getting it together. So are you all doing it virtual?
Yes, we're doing it virtual. Yeah,
so
virtual.
You know what? And is it too late for people to sign up?
Nope, it's not too late. It's not too late. I'm still taking people up till Saturday. And then so 72 hours left. And so it's and again, it's an all-in commitment, right? So I like to call it draws down, right? We're gonna be draws down.
Naked, come on through.
Right. You have to be. If you're wanting to change, otherwise it's going to be like this forever unless you do something, because we need people to show us our blind spots. We need people to show us the trees, because we're in the forest. We can't see the trees, right? But we need somebody else to be able to gently push you or pull you through the discomfort of what it is that you're seeing. And so then we can literally take authority over the lie and then allow God to heal and really bring transformation, so that you can be everything that he called you to be. But there's some practical pieces to how to do that, and we don't know how to do that, but there are very simple ways to do that. And so that's what we're going to be learning throughout these 12 weeks. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is the work with you. So we'll meet once a week, 90 minutes, where we're going to be doing the work together. And then there's going to be another hour where you'll be able to connect with the other women who are doing it, so that you can share each other's stories. So you don't feel like you're by yourself, so that you can get more comfortable with sharing your story and being transparent and being vulnerable, because people don't want to do that.
That is true. That is so true. Wow, man, we could go on and on and on, but we're out of time. But I want to say that you'll be doing the love experience again, because my plate is full, but I would love to participate.
Yes, I would love it for you too. Yes.
I mean, and you guys, there's always an open door for help, hope, and healing. And so the love experience is available to you until Saturday. So you guys go to ChristyLittleJones.com and sign up. This is an amazing coach who really ministers healing and wholeness to marriages, especially to the wife. So out of all my final question, which I ask every person I talk to, is out of all the things you've accomplished, what is one of the things you're the most proud of?
I'm the most proud of my babies. So Sky, Blaze, and Hayes are my pride and joy for sure. And the intentional parenting when they were babies, I'm seeing the fruit of it now as teenagers. I have never had any issues or problems with them. They are the most amazing, to me, kids on the earth. And so I'm most proud of them.
So somewhere along the line, the mommy, what was the name of your
Mommy in Training?
Mommy in Training business is still rising up, and you can still say that was good. So that's probably needs to be that book, Mommy in Training.
Yes.
Then we'll have the love experience and the wife wisdom. Come on, girl. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, just to share your heart, to share your story, and just to really bless us, because really it was truly a blessing. So you guys check out ChristyLittleJones.com. You can find her on all social media platforms. And I'm just blessed to know you, and I'm just grateful. And if you can, I'm going to ask you just to say a brief prayer for the wives. I don't do this often, but I really feel like or marriages in general, there are marriages who are really struggling and really just need a sense of hope. So if you wouldn't mind, Christy, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Neesha. This has been awesome. I really appreciate your heart to really pour into so many people and their businesses. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Father God, we just thank you and praise you, Lord, for waking us up this morning. I thank you for the men and women that you've led to Neesha's network, Lord. I thank you for Neesha and her heart for you, Lord, and her heart for people. I just lift up every marriage, every wife, every woman who desires to be a wife. I lift them up to you right now in the name of Jesus. And I thank you, Father, for just having an encounter with them, an experience with them, Lord, that reminds them that you are in control, that they are your daughter, Lord, and what you brought together, let no man separate. And I thank you, Father, for the privilege that it is to be able to be an example of your love each and every day, Lord. Then continue to bring people to Neesha and her network, Father, too, so that they are encouraged, that they experience hope, Lord, that they see themselves in other people, so that they know that what God will do for them, He will do for them as well. So I just thank you and praise you for our children. Keep them safe from all harm, hurt, or danger, Lord. Thank you for sending your angels before every single person who watches this show, Father. And keep them safe, Father. Continue to guide them, direct them, order their steps, so that we may truly be obedient to what you're calling us to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
In Jesus' name, thank you so much. It was so great talking to you today. And I'll be out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, we go put your business on display.